Hello, Uta here with this kind of swamp plant called pipe stem, and it's dripping on me. That's why I'm laughing. I have to keep it away from the computer, but I'm gonna see. Yeah, we'll share the screen. So remember, proposal one in New York. Be sure to vote no. That proposal pretends to be protecting women's choice, reproductive choice, but what it is actually doing is uh, installing terms, gender expression, and gender identity um, in the New York State Constitution. And this is the meaning of it is that it may be that there could be lawsuits when all the girls on a team decide to forfeit a game when the opposing girls' team has a boy on it and they're worried about getting hurt, like with the recent volleyball, college volleyball forfeitures. I think there are five now. The San Jose State women's volleyball team has this guy. If you see the pictures, you can tell by his thighs. He's got really, really big femurs. And he might have, been under treatment since before puberty, but nevertheless, um, he's got a big, strong male body and he's creaming the women. So that's it about proposal one. Just vote no. And it's you might think, oh, that's just New York, but I heard that there's something similar in Missouri as a referendum, and this they're trying to insert this, as a ballot initiative, basically all over in all states in the U.S. And this has been similar stuff has been inserted elsewhere. I guess there is a big high court case in the UK regarding the definition of a woman, which is an adult human female. Oh, I'll just point out I managed to scrape together some flowers. It's these coreopsis are doing nicely. They originally 2 years ago when I bought the seeds, the flowers were orange. It's called Orange Flash. And I guess as the seeds got older, they kind of lost some of the flower color. Never never saw that before, but anyway. Okay. Gracie. Oh. Yeah. So I've got a few I think three surveys out where they haven't been answered, and I think sometimes it is very, very hard to bring up these things from the past. But we in the older generation really want you younger trans widows, whether or not you were married to the guy, we really want you to, answer the survey and be part of the data. I don't have to profile you if you're afraid. But what we're finding is that there's so much violence. There's just so much violence against women. How can this is so, you know, perplexing. So I was going to see if I could, I think that's it. Anyway, okay, Gracie. We're in the middle 60s. So I think we're at 64 or 65 now, something like this. Was his cross-dressing a revelation or your discovery? I didn't discover his cross-dressing because when we met, he was a masculine, straight, heterosexual male, and then his identity began to shift. As time went on, things got more and more strange. And she's calling him Harry, also a pen name. Harry's cross-dressing was a revelation that came to me while he was grooming me little by little, giving me plenty of drugs. This guy was a drug dealer, and she was young and he was in his 20s. She was quite young. He took me to strip clubs to desensitize me to nudity. I just remember being very high on drugs when he finally introduced me to his cross-dressing. So I guess we could call that a revelation. Did he then tell you it's under control, and then it escalated. Before he and I met, my college sociology textbook defined transvestites as social deviants, and this scared me. you know, hmm. If someone was just dressing up like the men did in the Shakespeare plays, playing the women and stuff, that would be one thing. But when they lurk, I would call that somewhat deviant. After he introduced me to his cross-dressing, he said that he just liked to get high and dress up occasionally at first, that it was under control. So yes, it did escalate. What I didn't understand was that this was not something he did occasionally. He liked to do it often, and he wanted me to participate. I noticed when we were really stressed or money was tight, I would come home from work and he would jump out from behind the door completely dressed, wearing my perfume. So check. He wore her stuff. It was sickening. I felt like a hostage and I wanted to run away. Then, when I got pregnant with our daughter, I noticed that the bigger my belly got, the more often he would cross-dress. 3, did he select a therapist? No, he didn't do that. Talked about his fantasies of seeing me have sex with another woman, blah, da, da. He wanted to document it and take photos. After we were married, I suggested we see a counselor, but he balked at the idea. Later, our marriage was extremely unstable, and after our daughter was born, he did agree to see a marriage counselor. He didn't want to disclose his cross-dressing to any counselor or pastor. So again, he pulls the wife into the closet, behind the closet. She becomes his father confessor, as well as, a prop, and also his veil of secrecy. Did he put money in a secret account or other venue and spend it on wardrobe, electrolysis, makeup? I never knew if he had a secret bank account or credit card. We did have money problems, but I was not allowed to be in control of the finances. I really feel like counting this as a yes. He made the money, so he decided how the money was spent, and I had no input whatsoever. He bought illegal steroids, and I asked one time how much it costs. He told me to mind my own business. He had a storage unit that he kept his motorcycle. Oh yeah, Nettie got a motorcycle after he had his surgery. And so this guy kept his motorcycle and tools in it, but he didn't want me to go there. The final straw was when I was sleeping on the living room sofa for a year, and he decided that he wanted to deal marijuana out of the rental home we were leasing from a sheriff. I was not in agreement at all. I told him that I would not be allowed to keep my baby in prison. Okay. 5, did he wear your clothing or makeup? Yes. He usually just helped himself to my clothes, my makeup, etc., and he would leave his scent on my things. I got so tired of that. He would go out and buy a wig, makeup, and etc. if he didn't think my stuff was exciting enough for him. Let me say that again. If he didn't think my stuff was exciting enough for him. Oh gosh. For example, I did not wear bright red nail polish or lipstick. I wore pink or bronze shades. So we would go buy the colors he liked. I would find items of lingerie or women's panties at the laundromat. Okay, wait a minute. He would find, okay, just like Sam Brinton, stealing. He would, in quotes, find items of lingerie or women's panties at the laundromat and ask me if I wanted to wear them. I didn't. Did he suggest, coerce, cajole you into sex role play whereby you were to use a strap-on or a dildo? Yes. He would make suggestions about sex role play. He didn't ask me to use a strap-on, but he wanted me to use a dildo on him. Okay, I don't even know the difference. But anyway, because he said he liked it. So that's the dildo. I wouldn't do it, and then when I wasn't cooperative, he would pout and not speak to me. Been there, done that. He would withdraw, and he would withhold my supply of marijuana. So this is really too bad. This is ritual manipulation and coercive control. He suggested swapping other partners too. He tried to pimp me out to his friends a couple of times. Fortunately, they weren't interested. Did a therapist suggest any of the above as in number 6? No, there was no therapist. She thinks his mother knew because they live together. Okay, did he defame or vilify you? He defamed me in court and then later to our daughter and my family and friends and the police. He told everyone I was an unfit mother because I had a drug habit. He said that I would not be able to hold down a job and take care of our daughter. When I left him, it was like scorched earth. I knew that I would be starting over with nothing but me and my baby, and I was okay with that. I left with the clothes on my back, $40 in my purse, and my baby on my hip with no diaper bag. I ran in my car. We hid for about 6 weeks while I was trying to serve him with the divorce papers. Okay, number 9, did he claim to anyone that you abused him verbally or physically? Yes, he told our friends, his mother, my mother, and the police that I would scream at him. And I did scream at him. He was making me so unhappy and driving me crazy. He was physically stronger than I was. No, he never claimed that I abused him physically. I think he knew that he could just, crunch her like a cracker. Did he attack you? Yes. The first time he was physically violent with me was when I tried to leave after he found out I was pregnant. Okay, he gets violent with a pregnant woman. He slammed me against the hallway of our duplex apartment. I think he was hoping that I would miscarry. As the relationship continued, he would shove me. He shoved me onto the bed on our wedding night, and it broke the bed frame, slats and all. The next time I was well into my second trimester, and we were fighting because I wouldn't agree to help him and his friends steal ether out of the hospital after I had my baby. They wanted to use it to cook meth. I was standing by the door and he shoved me hard and I landed on my bottom. The downstairs neighbor came and checked on me and she wanted to call the police. I was okay, But people were starting to notice that Harry had a temper and he wasn't afraid to show it. After I had our daughter, we argued a lot. He would get behind me and put me into a locked position. This is really coercive control. This is brutal. He would wrap his arms around my arms down at my sides and squeeze me until I couldn't breathe and urine would run down my legs. I mean, this is extreme abuse. He was careful not to leave bruises or cuts, and the police were called a few times. Okay, what about forced sex? He didn't physically force me to have sex with him, but it was the type of sex he wanted, and that he wanted me to have sex with him while he was cross-dressing. When he was wearing lipstick, a wig, and lingerie with stockings, it felt like I was having sex with another woman. He wanted both of us to dress in very sexy lingerie, something like a prostitute would wear. I didn't like it. I never liked any of it. A friend of mine who's a counselor told me that any type of sexual act that is done against a person's will is considered rape. I would considering all the other things he did to her, I basically would consider this to be sexual assault. No matter how many times I told my ex-husband that I didn't like the cross-dressing and having sex that way, he didn't care. If I wanted sex, it was going to be his way or not at all. So he would starve me emotionally and sexually so that I would finally break and do it the way he wanted. I don't know how many times this happened during our relationship. The police were never called about this, and nothing was ever reported. No charges were filed. Well, this kind of thing is very, very difficult because he's engaging in ritual manipulation and coercive control. And so he's already done physical violence, and then he's coercing these acts. So I guess we got through question 9. And I just want you to know she's out of it. This is quite a few years ago. Her daughter had a hard time for a while and ended up okay. And outside, it's a warm day. Outside, I have to return this to its little pond